What's going on? Today is Thursday, December 28th, 2023. Um, man, Christmas is over. New Year's is coming. I guess this is probably our last stream for 2023, actually, right?
Yeah, I
Our
was
last
just
one.
thinking that as you're saying that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final stream.
Final stream of 2023.
Yeah.
We're talking about the challenge tonight. We got 2 episodes to talk about tonight because we took the week off last week, of course. So we're getting caught up on everything that's been going on with the challenge 39. Yeah, I know some people aren't really loving the season, but I am excited to talk about it with you guys at least and get into some of this stuff. So,
Oh yeah, I'm so glad to chat for sure.
oh yeah, it's gonna be a great chat. It's gonna be a great chat. You know what? Let's just. Yeah, well, we hope so. We hope so. Well, let's get right to it. All right. My name is John Dumphy Judea, of course, standing my queen, Mariah, joined as always by my ride or dies, Mr. Kyle Petty Young, standing, of course, Kyland Young, who had a big elimination win in the first of these 2 episodes. Yeah. And of course, Gina Morgino Kaiser, standing the lovely Olivia Kaiser. And we are Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. Find us on all the socials everywhere at Strat Chat Pod. Throw us a like, send a comment. We love to hear from people. We love to hear, get conversations going. And of course, follow us everywhere, subscribe, head over to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave us a really nice review. We would really appreciate it. It's very helpful. Does a lot for the podcast. So, yeah, that's us. And now we are going to be getting into episodes 10 and 11 of the Challenge 39. It feels like a lot happened and also nothing, because we had 2 daily challenges, we had 2 eliminations, and yet we have the exact same cast still. No one has gone home. How do you feel about that?
Yeah,
I feel like.
Go ahead.
Like this is one of the things for me that's kind of like making this season a bit of a trudge to get through, because was it Ride or Dies that we were calling the never-ending season? This feels like we're headed,
or Spies, Lies, and Allies. I think all of these
but this
iteration is exceptionally long.
But this feels like we're treading into that direction where, like, every time someone would get eliminated, a new team would come in. So the numbers were never dwindling. We were just constantly getting new people coming in to replace the old people. Now we have all of these episodes happening, but nothing's actually happening because nobody's leaving. And like, it's not like it's not like I was begging for Kylan to go home, but like, I don't want to be in a situation where like months from now we're like, how are we still watching the season because no one's gone home in like 4 weeks,
Yeah, we've had 16 since before Christmas.
Right. I think we got to the first daily challenge, and I think that TJ said, like, all right, we're halfway through the game, meaning like half of the players have gone home or whatever. And it's like, so 2 episodes into the halfway point of the game, we're still only halfway through the game.
Right.
We have not advanced at all.
Yeah. But I think like, I kind of think the way I want to do this, if you guys don't mind, is like just talk about both daily challenges, both eliminations, and like what happened, and then we can get into like all the different opinions we have, all the drama, and we can kind of just like talk about like all that other extra stuff. But like just to like be kind of like, kind of organized. Let's just talk about like the first daily challenge. This one was Skyball, which I feel like that was the first daily challenge, which I felt like we saw. We've seen in like trailers and stuff like that. It's with these big hanging spheres with the balls in them. And I was expecting like a pretty intense daily challenge here, and it didn't really match my expectations, to be totally honest.
I don't even remember. Like, remind me what this one was. I don't even remember.
So they were. No. Well, so they were split into 2 teams: blue team, orange team. They each had this big hanging sphere, and then on the ground there were these pyramids. Half of the team for each team was in the sphere. They had to throw these balls out, and then the other half were on the ground having to feed the balls into the sphere. And I think they had to get like a code first, which was chaos. And then once they opened the doors using that code, they could race to get the balls into the pyramid the fastest. Yeah. Kyle, you're shaking your head. You didn't like this one, did you?
Well, I imagine maybe that'll be a little bit more fun to watch if you were actually there. But like at home, like it's like, okay, so people are just swinging in a ball, not doing anything until it's time to throw the balls out. Like, I don't think that they actually had to do anything like other than that. That's not interesting to me. Like, it's not like you're sitting at home, like, especially when you came from reindeer games where like these were games you could watch and like they may have been simpler, but they were exciting because you could cheer, like, oh my gosh, like what is going to happen? What's going to happen? It's like, I don't care about four people suspended in the air throwing balls out of a hole. Like, that's not exciting. Like, as far as where you are with this puzzle, that's not exciting. It's just not fun as a viewer.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I couldn't even remember what the challenge was should tell you all you need to know about how exciting it was to watch.
Right. Yeah, it's not a good watch. But it is equitable if you want to bring it to that part of the argument. Like,
Yeah.
you know, okay, it could have gone any way.
Right.
Not really what I'm looking for on the challenge, though. Honestly, I'm not really looking for equitable on the challenge. I'm expecting things to have varying degrees of difficulty because it's supposed to be a more physical show, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I hear you.
yeah, we just want game makers. I think Suri and Felicia would have been fine with swing and then tossing some, you know what I mean? Tossing balls out of a hole. Not, and it's just not fun. Not fun for this environment.
Yeah, I was expecting something different for this competition when we were seeing it in trailers and commercials and stuff. And it was kind of a letdown when we actually kind of saw what it really was.
Yeah,
so
they made it look like this is going to be like high times, super exciting, and like honestly, when I think back to the Challenge USA and they were doing like trivia like on that sliding glass thing, that was more exciting to watch than even this.
Yeah.
If you're gonna put people in the sky, at least I don't know, like
raise the stakes a little bit.
Right. Like all the challenge does is put people in the air. And I've seen far more engaging competitions in this one. So
yeah. No, definitely.
bonk bonk from the Petty Young house.
Once again, we did have these random teams that were drawn for the blue team and the orange team. And we had random teams again in the second daily challenge, which we'll eventually get to. But I don't really love this random selection thing. I know we well, hold on. But I'm just saying, regardless of whether we think they're legit or not, I feel like I would much rather see, like, by chance, two team captains get picked and then have to select their teams. I think that would be more interesting. Like, you know, again, regardless of whether we think that the random selection is random or not, like, I think that that's more fun to me, is just picking two team captains that then get to kind of show their cards about, like, who do you want to play with? Or why aren't you selecting this person? Do you want to have a friend on the other team to protect you just in case? Like, you know, like to speculate about things like that. I don't like, I feel like
that.
Yeah.
So then if they were to do something like that, since we're speaking in hypotheticals, what would you propose then would be the selection process for the captains? Like, how do we get to that point? Because what I haven't been enjoying about the randomness of this is that because these are all people who have not, they're not super seasoned in the challenge. Like, whatever alliances they have are much thinner than some of the alliances that we've seen in the challenge before. Right. So that does kind of make it fun that it's random, because like it really could go any way and almost kind of does feed into the equitable end of things. But like, how do we pick the captains then?
I'd like to see TJ like tell everybody maybe before the competition, like it's a men's day or it's a women's elimination day, and then only those people get to be chosen as captains. You know, so like kind of like their fate is in their hands a little more, and maybe you have two allies
so that being captains on men elimination days and then women on the other.
Right. Because like, could you imagine, like, we know that like Olivia and Nerys, for example, are working really closely together. Now, let's say it's a women's elimination day and they're chosen as the captains. So they're on opposite teams or something. You know, they're going to want to fight to have their own allies on the team, but they have the same allies, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, that could make things kind of interesting to me, I think. I don't know.
I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. I actually, in that scenario, I would want the captains to then not be chosen at random. I want production fucking around. Like, they're listening. They know how some of these alliances are going, and that's how they're picking captains. That would make it fun. Owl, we have to show
I was
this
waiting for you
comment.
to see that.
All right, this is total poppycock. All right, they need to incorporate the hopper. That hopper was never real. All right,
You want to
they
talk about
fooled you.
shenanigans?
Exactly, they got you with the okie doke. If you thought that any of that was real, and like, oh, honestly, come on, get it together, Owl. What are you watching? What are you watching?
Oh man. But yeah, so in this competition, the orange team, it was Emmanuel, Zara, Horacio, Asaf, Mariah, Colleen, and Raven and Jay. The blue team was Kylan, Michelle, Nerese, James, Corey, Ed, Berna, and Olivia. The orange team wins. Jay really did, I think, a great job collecting the balls, making sure they all got into the pyramid. He did have a good moment here. Yeah, orange team wins, and they pretty much all decided that they were going to send I think it was Kylan in, right, for this first elimination, with the only person protesting being Horacio. and Kyle Petty Young. Horacio, he was very surprised by Jay not backing up Kylan more. I don't know. Was that surprising to you at all that Jay didn't? He kept saying that he didn't want to face both Kylan and Horacio in a potential final, so he wanted to try to break them up and get one of them out. So he decided he wanted to take the shot at Kylan. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Jay is never going to go against the grain. That's the bottom line about this guy. And that is what kind of irritates me so much about him on this show in this season. Like I began 39 thinking like, okay, this is Jay's chance to kind of get his due, you know, because he definitely was shafted on so many seasons before this, like always like an early out, always a target from the very beginning. And honestly, this is giving me a peek as to why that all went down the way that it did. This man is an irritant to the nth degree. And like he is never actually going to back a sinking ship, right? He's not loyal like that. I would love to see what's happening if Asaf starts going down. I don't see a world in where Jay is like, let me stick up for my friend. I see him every single day. I think he's going to tell him to fuck off because that's how Jay is. Like, Jay sucks. Sorry, it didn't shock me at all. Jay is loyal to no one but himself, which in these games you can't necessarily say is a complete negative, right? You've got to look out for number one, all right? If you don't want you to win, then what the hell are you doing there, right? But yeah, Jay. You also need numbers to get to the end. And at this stage, that's not that. And like your lack of loyalty, if it doesn't hit you now, it's going to hit you in season 40.
I also, too, like, because of the format of where we are right now, because this game is kind of sectioned, the section that we're in right now, because you have these mercenaries coming in, because there is no guarantee that the people you're putting down are actually going to be leaving, I don't know if now is the time to make that kind of a move. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. But like not knowing what's coming forward. See, I almost feel like for somebody like Jay, that for such a big talker, that's almost something to hide behind. Oh, I don't want to do it now because I don't know. And it's like, that just enables you to be a pussy. So either like step up and be the warrior that you claim to be. Like you act like you're such a fucking badass, you know, and like, but you're not because every decision you make is pussy driven. So yeah, I'm sorry. No respect for Jay in the Petty Young house.
Yeah.
None.
No, I hear you. It's funny too, because there was I think there was one whole episode that was literally titled So Flip-Floppy. Like the challenge titled an episode after that because of Corey. And I feel like Jay is like the biggest flip-flopper around.
Right. I don't really know why Corey is getting that reputation, by the way. What you mean so flip-floppy? I think that man, for better or worse, and sometimes I think against himself, he's been pretty honest. Like, let's not forget when he blew up that whole like Big T and Melissa thing. Like, how are you saying this is a flip-floppy man? He flat out said, I ain't working with y'all. I played y'all. I played y'all from go. You know, here it is. And everyone hated him for it. But now all of a sudden he's a flip-flopper. I'm sorry. Ain't no flip-flopping after that, right? You are dead set on this other side. like that's it. Like there's no road back. So like, Leave my
It's
guy
been
alone. Leave him
yeah,
alone.
I will say too, like I thought that Corey's game was dead. It felt like everybody was coming after him, like all eyes were on him,
You're
and
right.
suddenly his game has been totally like rejuvenated. Like he
It
feels
has.
like he's in a pretty good spot now. All of a sudden,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
To the point that like I actually kind of feel bad that I dropped his name because I have been a Corey Lay fan from the beginning, and I did drop his name because I just really felt it wasn't going well. I was like,
it
again,
was.
But
Yeah,
I
it was
also kind of
I
feel
don't know
looking
like
you.
bleak.
I don't want to attach my name to a sinking ship.
It was bleak. It was bleak for a while.
Right.
I feel like
Many
he got
holes in
really
that
lucky though,
rowboat.
because like the people that were the most against him are the two people that immediately then left. So I think he was kind of lucky in the way that like these eliminations panned out. That like, yeah, now he's not on the chopping block. The two people he burned are gone.
Right, right. I think it's also worth mentioning though, like the rejuvenation of his game. Like
Sure.
this was somebody who was absolutely on the bottom, and somehow, we didn't get to see a lot of it in the edit. But no one's talking about this man anymore. All of a sudden,
Right.
he is super, super safe. There's something to be said for that.
Right, because I don't know, like, what didn't Michelle even say his name at a deliberation at one point? Like, and Michelle and him are like supposed to be, very, very close. Like, I feel like he was in danger with a lot of people, and I don't like I know that he had the friction with Big T and Melissa, but I feel like he kind of threw them under the bus in order to help save his game. Like, I don't think that they were the ones that were like putting him in danger. I feel like he was already in danger, used the relationship that he had with Big T and Melissa to get them out, and now it's kind of like helped him. I feel like his own alliance was really gunning for him for a little bit there. Like, I don't think that it was Big T and Melissa that he had to
Oh, it
worry
wasn't
about.
solely them at all. No.
No, it wasn't. It was, but there was something there about the way that people were viewing him playing the game socially that would
Yeah.
with starting to view him at untrustworthy, because of the way he handled the relationships with Big T and Melissa. And I think it's interesting that even despite that, that seems to now be reversed.
Yeah.
That's certainly worth mentioning, this is somebody that no one liked his behavior in that deliberation, but no one has said his name since then.
Right.
Yeah.
That is
for sure.
beyond worth mentioning. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's talk about we had Kylan going in, chosen by the Orange team after this daily challenge, so we knew that he for sure was going to be down in the arena. We had a deliberation, and Mariah has been very close to James. She tried to make a deal with Nerys at one point, saying, "Listen, you don't say James's name, I won't say Horacio's name if I win." She was trying to run around, make a bunch of deals with people, and there was a tense conversation between Mariah and Michelle at one point about like how she's making all these deals for James, and people have been looking at her like, Mariah, are you working with this alliance or are you working with James and also Zara, because James and Zara are very close as well. And then in that deliberation or in the nomination ceremony or whatever you want to call it, it was James's name overwhelmingly with just Ed. Ed's name was put out by James and Kylan, but Kylan really only threw that name out once James was locked in. So what do you think about this this Ride or Dies season 38 women's alliance, right, between Olivia, Michelle, Nerys, Raven, and Mariah, and like they all threw James's name in? What do you think about this? What do you think about Mariah's game? Is she in trouble here? I think she could be in some
This
trouble.
alliance is a disaster. Full on disaster.
Yes, it is. It really is. Tell us why.
God. Tell us why. I feel like from the moment the alliance was formed, they were fighting against each other. Like, I don't think this was ever going to work in any sense with anybody.
I can't wait for it to properly implode. Like, I can't wait. I hate it so much. And like, there are so many things I have to say about Miss Raven, and like, I'm just waiting till we get to her elimination.
Sure.
Oh wow!
I had a feeling we would have some thoughts on that.
You mean, oh wow, John? You know me.
I'm just excited.
I'm
just excited to hear it.
Boo hiss.
Oh, as that was happening, I was like,
Elimination
I cannot wait to talk to Kyle about this.
Oh, I am fired up. All right.
Listen, I'm just excited for it. That's why I'm saying, oh wow, that's all. That's all.
I will
That's
say
all.
that I do agree with Kyler here, saying that I like Mariah. She's basically like, hey, he is my fuck buddy. He's my number one now. I'm here for it. I'm here for it too. Like, I do like the shift. Like, listen, that's my guy. Because I want everybody to stop talking about the Mariah and Johnny Bananas thing like it's a real fucking thing. Like, I didn't actually
Airtime
watch.
this relationship has gotten.
Yeah, it's like so ridiculous. Like, this was never like a real relationship. I saw nothing of this. Like when Bananas was dating Morgan, from BBOTT, like we saw Morgan on his socials. Like we saw that was actually like a real relationship. Things were actually going on there. This was never anything real. Like maybe they slammed a couple of times because they're in this house in this hyper pressurized situation. But like, let's not act like I do not see Bananas and Mariah going out for nobody dinners or anything like that. Taco Tuesday. They're not participating in these events like because it's not real. It's not real.
I have a couple of thoughts on this also because okay, we like to talk about production and their shenanigans, right?
Of course.
And it seems like every vet that's coming, every champ that comes in makes shenanery. Every champ that comes into an elimination makes a comment about James and Mariah. And there's a part of me that wonders, is production getting ready to set up like a battle of the X's type thing, and we're going to see a Mariah and Bananas duo on a season coming up? You know what I mean?
If that was the end game, I would actually accept that because then we can actually get some more mileage out of some of these other like failed relationships. Like then I want to see. I hate that I'm going to say this, especially on my birthday eve. But if we're going to do Battle of the Exes, then I do want to see Tori and Jordan. But because it's set up to be a failed thing, like I would want to see more of those things. But like I don't know what the point of that is. And like with Tori, I saw a clip when during the Melissa elimination where Tori was like, "Oh, he's heartbroken. He's heartbroken." It's like, what are you talking about? First of all, how does he even know? How does he even know? Who told him? Who told him? And like, what? You think that Johnny Bananas is sitting at home, like lamenting the failure of his faux relationship with Mariah? Like, please, like, this is not a man who like laments anything like that. Oh my God.
Johnny Bananas he's got options. He's got options. Come on, let's be honest here. He not crying.
So many options, honestly, and I would like to put myself at least in a single digit position on the list of options. All right, I'm here. All right, highly fuckable.
So you're saying you are DTF?
Wow.
Oh, since
I
beginning,
love that for you.
I will drop trow in less than 5 seconds.
I love that for you.
I love it.
Yes,
yeah.
Thank you for supporting my sexual exploits.
Yeah, of course. So that was one thought that I had. Another thought that I had, just specifically for this season, because I don't think it's unwarranted that Mariah is getting heat for like being so close to someone who's not in the US alliance. And I know it's different for Michelle because we've talked about how Michelle and Jay seem to be like the leaders of this alliance. So like they can kind of do whatever they want. But Michelle was in this relationship with Callum, and he wasn't in the U.S. alliance, and there was nothing. Nobody cared, and it was funny because there was a point where Mariah and Michelle, in this intense conversation they had about deals that Mariah, was trying to make to save James, Michelle was calling her out on it, and Mariah, like her response to Michelle was like, "Well, wouldn't you do this for Jay?" And Michelle didn't really care, whatever, it was blah, blah, blah. But I really wish that Mariah had said, like, listen, if Callum was still here and he was in danger, wouldn't you be doing this for him right now? Like, because that I feel like is way more comparable. Like, you were both in relationships with people that are not in your alliance. Why is it okay for you to protect Callum, but not for me to try to protect James?
The only thing about that, though, is that I think that Michelle is so cutthroat that if push came to shove, I'm not sure she would protect Callum. Like I would have been interested to see how that played out later in the game, because it was safe and easy to try and protect him early on. Like once you get a little bit deeper, I think that Michelle is selfish enough, and I'm not saying that's necessarily wrong, right? Because we're playing a game, but like I don't know. I think she would drop Callum like a hot potatoes.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
I think
It's
she would.
it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. I also have to say during these episodes, like my opinion, my opinion of Michelle on the challenge dropped even a little further when we found out that it's her fourth season and she's never even been in a final. Like,
She's never been in the
that's
final.
not a good track record for you,
Right? Like, what are you talking about? Everyone's like, "Oh, Queen Michelle! Oh my God, she's so amazing on Survivor!" And it's like, she's never
Yes.
been to a final. Like, stop acting like she's some challenge queen. She's not. So I don't
Right.
know why she's the voice of this season. Why is she narrating every single move?
Literally, we're
and everything
seeing the
that's going
whole
on?
season
I'm
through Michelle's
so-
eyes. Yeah.
Right. And that's why, like, I don't want to jump the gun, but like, that's why I absolutely assumed that we would get in chaos on the Laurel pole, because I was like, that's it. That's why we got so much of Michelle in the beginning, because she's out at the halfway point.
Right.
And I was like, at that point, I could accept being like, just cramming Michelle Fitz down my throat.
Sure.
You know, I will say, as a result of her shenanery this week, I unfollowed her. I'm done.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Matt. Matt Blevins just exited the chat.
A knife to the heart.
I picked up my phone, I typed her name, as if she gives two shits what I'm doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Sucks. She sucks.
Oh man.
Wow,
Poor
wow,
Michelle.
wow.
Poor Michelle.
And Matt, if you're not tolerating it, that means you're not watching it, and you're not watching with an unbiased eye. Just saying. You're damn right. You're damn right.
The full named him.
That's right. My full government name.
My full government name. Oh man.
Okay, that's right. I'm not saying I back winners. I just back decent people. And Michelle is one of them. Okay. Thank you.
So we had Kyland,
So true,
and James going into elimination.
Kyler on the pod, honestly. I need to see Kyler's face. I need to give good opinions. Yeah.
There you go.
Always has
There
good
you go.
takes.
Honestly,
Yeah.
for real. DMs.
Kyler. Yeah, Kyler, talk to us. Talk to us. But so yes, we had Kyland and James going into the arena, potentially facing elimination. And our champ for this first elimination was Darrell. I was really happy to see Darrell back. I really was happy. I love Darrell.
Yeah.
He is just such a sweet man. I love him. And you know what? I feel like, because he hasn't won in a while, right? But he's still a legend. And I feel like it's very cool to me that Darrell is still the only player. Yeah, Bananas has won his 7 championships. CT has won his 5. But no one can ever take away from Darrell that he is the only person to win 4 straight championships. And that's just awesome to me, because I feel like Darrell is the kind of person that we may not see for that much longer. I think he'll be back, but I don't think we're going to get that much more Darrell. And I feel like that's a big thing for him to be able to claim, is that he won 4 championships in a row, which I think is a huge deal. So always happy to see Darrell. Yeah. It was funny because, you know, the contenders in the game have been speculating a lot lately about which champs are going to come in. And we saw Michelle freaking out about Laurel at one point, you know, but in this one, Mariah was very happy to not see Bananas. And like, it's funny to me because, do you think that like production is kicking themselves a little bit, being like, damn, we should have made Bananas one of these champs, you know, like to actually get in there? I don't know.
I'm actually happy that Bananas is not in this.
I honestly am too.
Yeah, I mean, I love him. Like, don't get me wrong.
Oh no, yeah, I don't disagree. Like, I don't.
Out.
I didn't need to see. I didn't need to see Bananas here, but I'm just wondering if they're thinking now. Right. Every champ is coming in talking about.
I feel like production has fabricated so much of this. Like, I feel like they had to know that's where it was going at least a little. I don't know.
Well, fabricated what exactly?
The drama surrounding Bananas on this season.
I don't know.
Like, I feel like, because to, you know, Kyle's point earlier, I feel like people are telling vets as they're coming in, like, hey, this is like a big point of contention. Like, make sure that you make Mariah feel like shit about this. You know, like, I don't know.
Well,
yeah, it feels
and that's
fake. It does feel
and
really fake.
that's fair, which makes me wonder if production is now saying like it would be awesome if after all these times that all the champs are calling out Mariah for this whole breaking up the relationship of Bananas, if he was like the last one to come in. You know what I mean? But I'm sure that
Yeah,
Bananas
I
was
hear what
busy
you're
with
saying.
his schedule of House of Villains and
Of
Traitors and
every
all that.
reality
So.
show on
Right,
Earth.
with everything, literally everything else. I think the only other thing with Bananas is that, like, I don't know how much more of him we're going to really be seeing on the challenge as his age advances. And the fact that, like, we do have such a wonderful record on the challenge, like 7 wins. We're only going to be really doing things. We're actually going to properly expand our brand, right? And like being on the challenge 39 as a mercenary, if I lose that, that's a blemish on my resume. I think we only got him on the Challenge USA too because we got to see vets for the first time in the Challenge USA, and that was like
But
CBS's
even that,
version.
I remember there being a whole thing in the poly elimination about like, oh, like his body is like not keeping up. He's in pain. He doesn't look like he was like dangerously close
Right,
to
because
losing that elimination because
yeah,
and
because
they
he's
kept
getting
talking about his
older.
age. Yeah.
Right, he's getting older. This is also an interesting conversation here because like Kyler is saying that CT will be last. Based on the next on, I'm not getting that impression. I'm getting the impression that CT
I
is
think CT is
next.
next. Yeah, I think CT is
Oh,
next.
that's not the impression I got.
Oh, it's not because he was dragging that that spiked ball on a stick. And we know that he's coming in with that, and that's kind of what the next on was implying. And like honestly, that's not really how I want it to go because I know that Brad is still waiting in the wings. And like, if you're going to round out these legend mercenaries and like Brad is the last male, no disrespect to him, but he should not be the final act after CT.
I was under the impression we were getting Kara next.
I would love to see Kara next. That's only if they double up on ladies, though.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
No, it wouldn't be.
No,
and also,
no.
to be fair, we haven't lost anybody in these last 2 episodes. It doesn't really matter.
Right. So
literally
none of it means anything. So it would make more sense, like at least to get another male, because of the mercenaries and like legends announced, like there was 2 men and only 1 female left.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
yeah.
fair.
So
I see. So the next episode title, which has already been released for the January 3rd episode, is A Legend Returns. And so I could see that going either way. I don't think that I think Brad is out to me because as much as I love Brad, as much as I love Brad,
Sorry,
Brad out.
Yeah. And I just feel like if you're gonna and I love Kara, in my mind she is a legend. But if you're gonna use the title of an episode as A Legend Returns,
No, yeah.
that to me has to be CT. I think. Like, what are you gonna name the episode that CT actually comes back in? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I could be totally wrong. It could be Kara.
It could be
I
Kara
think it's
also.
definitely
She
not Brad.
absolutely is a legend, but like because of the dragging of the ball.
I actually didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the comment, and like we have already seen CT carrying that. So like, so that's the only reason why I think it's CT. But I think that's like a little disrespectful to him because Brad is not the main event. It makes sense to me the order in which the females went.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess we'll see.
I still put Laurel above Kara, but because we haven't seen Kara in so long, I think that is what makes her.
I feel like her coming back is such a big thing.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
I could almost see Kara being the last one. I almost think it's more likely that we get like a CT than a big return for CT, get a little bit of a decline for Brad, and then Kara's the the last one where it's like Kara has now returned, and we're going to be getting her not on just this season, but she's coming back, for everything.
I was secretly hoping for like a double, like 2 men and 2 women leaving at the same time. Like that would have been super delicious to me. People.
But okay, we haven't even gotten through the first elimination yet. So let's so in this elimination, Darrell came out, he pulled Kylan's poll, and it was so we had Kylan versus Darrell. And the elimination was called Firewalker. So basically, we had these two big platforms suspended above the ground. Each of these platforms had 6 kind of branches, and at the end of each branch was this fire bowl. There was also a flamethrower that was aimed at each platform, and the players had to stand in the center of the platform and kind of maneuver it, move it around so that each of these fire bowls would be lit. And whoever lit the 6 fire bowls the fastest, they would win. Did you like this elimination? Did you like this at all? What did you think?
I liked it.
Yeah. We've never seen this or anything like this before, right?
Never seen it. It was fun to look at. The exploding flames were a good time. Good on you for production. It wasn't just a flame being lit. We got to see some sparks. That was exciting.
Oh, how the Jets doing?
I don't know. I don't know how to turn off certain notifications because I don't get Jets notifications on here. I keep saying stop talking to me. But ESPN doesn't care.
Actually yell at your phone, stop talking to me every time it goes
on. Shush. But it was weird as a viewer because you really don't know who's doing better in a situation like this, other than the tally that's coming up.
That's my issue with eliminations like these. I don't really know how we're doing.
Right. I don't really know what you're up against. It's kind of hard for me to understand what your struggles are. It did look difficult. I would imagine that I would definitely have a hard time with this, but it also was fun in the same regard because that means anyone could win, right? Because I don't really know what you're up against, and I've never seen this challenge before, so who knows?
Yeah.
But my guy did it.
Yeah, Kylan wins. He saves the money, so we're still at $366,000 for the overall prize pot. Darrell, of course, always gracious, even in defeat. But Kylan takes it. He stays in the house. And then TJ immediately tells us that it's not time for bed. You got to get ready for a challenge. And we had a nice nighttime challenge, which I loved. I love having these kind of curveballs thrown in.
Listen, I was really excited about a spooky challenge. We saw the whole aesthetic. I was like, yes, I love this. I'm so excited. And then it was an eating challenge. And you know how I feel about the eating challenges. I immediately felt deflated. I am upset. I did not enjoy this. I did not have a good time.
I did feel like this was pretty tame, though, as far as many eating challenges go. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this was fun. I loved the setting, the way everything looked.
No, aesthetically, this was for me.
Yeah, and I also did like the multiple stages. This again, I would have liked to see teams pick differently. It was yet another challenge where we had random selection for teams, whatever you want to think about that. But I liked that we had, a trivia component and then having to carry these boxes back and then get this code and then the eating began. So I liked how there were multiple kind of stages in the challenge itself.
Yeah, I liked everything until we got to the vomiting sounds.
Yeah, this was the Banquet of Champions. I actually wanted to ask you guys, get your opinion. What did you think of the things that they had to consume? What was the worst thing? What was the one thing that you would have maybe tried to do? How did you rank these? We had, so just to go over them, we had brain soup. We had skin and colon stew. We had boar snot and ear. And a spicy surprise, which was a very interesting drink. So of those 4 dishes, what would you have, how would you rank those? What would be the first one you would try to the one that you're no, do not give that to me?
I think I'm totally here for the brain soup.
I agree. Actually, I totally agree. I'm with you on that.
I don't know if I can bring myself to do any of it. Oh my god!
Right, because I feel like the chunks I saw in there were light. I feel like that's something that I could probably just slam my tongue in the roof of my mouth on and just down, go.
The brain soup. The brain soup to me almost looks kind of like a lentil soup. Honestly,
yeah, it looked lentily, and the fact that Berna co-signed on it, she goes, "I eat that all the time." That's mad good. Yeah. I was like, girl, I get it. I think I'd be okay with the brain soup. I think the next thing for me would be
you didn't tell me what it was. Just don't if you just put it in front of me and didn't tell me what it was, maybe I could be on board with that one. But because I know what it is, I'm not doing it.
But that's so much of the fun is knowing that what you're eating.
No, it's not.
Really funny. I hear you on that. That definitely does add something else to it because it's not like a mystery meat, right? Like I know what's
Yeah.
going on here. But like I guess what would comfort me is knowing that people in other countries do eat this without an issue.
On purpose.
That means you're right. Like people will go to a restaurant and order this for $4.99. So it's like, what am I like? Just get it down. Now the skin and colon thing, I guess that would probably be next because I definitely couldn't do the snout, and that spicy surprise, just like a mouthful of oil and spices. Y'all know I can barely stomach the mild sauce at the Taco Bell.
No, see,
Like,
that one would be I'd be like, give me the spicy one. I'll do that and nothing else. I'll take it.
I don't know.
I'll do it. Fine.
I don't know. See, Kyler
Yeah.
said that they had the cow intestine soup in Romania. Probably not that bad, right? That's what I'm saying. Like I think I
Again,
could
it's just
brain
knowing
soup.
what it is.
Mhm.
Didn't now in the the beloved movie Clue, wasn't Miss Peacock's like favorite dish monkey brains or something like that? Like
It was like a monkey brain something. Yes.
yeah.
This is my favorite dish. Oh, I know, madam.
Hale's favorite movie.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Gina. I did not put together a vomiting montage.
Really? I saw it come up and I was mentally preparing myself for tonight all day because oh my god, I'm so happy.
I wanted to pretend like it was like, oh, it's the holidays, so I thought I'd give you a break.
Is it my birthday eve
But
again?
no, it's really more. It's really more that I was just too lazy to actually make it. So no vomiting montage.
It's Christmas. We're tired. We tired.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired.
We're tired.
But in this one, we had the winning team was Corey, James, Mariah, and Colleen. They were the winners of this, so they were all safe. And they decided that they were going to nominate Raven to go into elimination. Mariah wanted to say Berna. Now, this was one thing that I thought was interesting because Mariah has been putting her game on the line a lot for James. Mariah made it very clear that she wanted to say Berna's name for elimination. But we saw, her team kind of push back on that. Corey and they wanted to say Raven. Not. Yeah. Corey wanted to say Raven. Zara went along with that, right? Wait, no, not Zara. Was it? Colleen went along with that. Colleen went along with saying Raven's name. And James, who's supposed to be Mariah's number one that she's been looking out for and protecting, didn't really fight for it. Just kind of said, yeah, sure, Raven. So
I like it.
Yeah. But what do you think, though, about this? Like, is Mariah throwing her game away for someone that doesn't even really have her back as much as she thinks anyway?
Oh, so I didn't think about it that way.
Surprise.
Wow. I didn't think about it that way. I would still say no, though, because like that wasn't a mark against her personally. It was because what he actually said was, I don't really care. All of these people that you're mentioning are people who voted for me to go in. So I don't really give a damn where we land. Like, I do think in a situation like that, throwing your hands up and saying, I don't really care where it goes is a little bit different than steering the conversation to target a specific person. So it's like, how can you expect?
No, I hear that.
And it's like, I'm not really working against you, Mariah, but I'm just saying, like, you know what, in this situation, what is my best move here? I think James is actually kind of smart in this moment.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad for his
it's just do whatever. And like Mariah, like,
right.
It would be better for Mariah to have a better pulse on what's going on, like socially, to put forth a name that might be received better.
Right.
If you knew better where people were standing, you wouldn't have even suggested this.
Right. I don't think it was bad for James's game. I don't think he made that people are coming after him anyway. His alliance has been decimated. But I think for Mariah, I might, like you said, I would definitely take a step back and kind of reassess who I'm targeting maybe, but also maybe reassess, like, people in my alliance don't love that I'm super tight with James. And if he's not going to back me up when I say a name and two other people say a different name, is it worth it for me to continue to protect him as much as I am? You know what I mean? I know he's a number for her, but like, I don't know. It's just interesting to me that like the first chance that James got, like if you're really that tight, if you really think you can trust James that much, he should have stood up and been like, "No, I'm with Mariah, and I want to say Berna. I don't want to say Raven." So if he's not going to do that, is it worth it for Mariah to like kind of like risk these relationships we had? We just saw Mariah have this intense conversation with Michelle about making deals for James to try to save him and stuff like that. Like if that person's not going to back you up when you have to nominate someone for elimination, like what are you doing? Like,
right,
Yeah,
she's burned every other number she has.
yeah, I do. I hear that too. I guess it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out because, in so many of the conversations we've had before, certainly about other games and shows that we watch, like you also don't want to attach your cart to a horse that could be going down, right? You don't want to just blindly just say like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. I'm riding with you because like, I like to have sex with you. That doesn't always turn out right. And it's like, James, if you remember from the Challenge UK, he went out unceremoniously.
Yeah.
He fell from the sky and like hit the water so hard. He was super, super bruised and didn't even really get to play. This is the first time we're seeing him after that flarn. And it's like, so am I really going to make every single decision based on this girl that I only met 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I don't know. Thank you for your support. I'm not going to work against you, but that doesn't mean I'm going to make every decision with you.
Right. It's just it's interesting to me though because we feel like
It
I feel like in
definitely
this scenario, like Mariah feels like the one that you're talking about. Like, does James want to attach himself to this ship that's already sinking? But Mariah is arguably in a much better position. Right, but you know what I mean? But like Mariah is arguably in a much better position than James because she has more allies in there, which is what's weird to me.
Yeah, arguably is really the operative word there because I'm not really so sure that she's in such a secure spot. Because
maybe not for much longer.
Well, not anymore. Like,
right, maybe not for much longer. But you know what I'm saying is like James's alliance has been decimated. Like he should be the one whose ship is sinking. And it feels like Mariah is like turning it on its head, where it's like now James has to decide: do I want to attach myself to that sinking ship? When it's really James the one whose ship should be sinking.
I love that, and I think that's actually the beauty of this game because no one has really gone home. The game has not shifted that much, but the game has shifted in terms of who do I feel safe with, who do I trust, and like how do I move going forward? And because of the moves that Mariah has been making. Yum! Oh my gosh, it's just so interesting to get into, because the game hasn't really shifted and people have not gone home. So the moves that Mariah is making is based on the thought that other people would be leaving, right? So like we really should have been down to 14 at this point and we're not. We're still at the same 16. So like, is she still making good decisions when people aren't leaving here? Because you're burning bridges and you're getting no return. Like a lot of the times when we see socially that we say like, all right, I want so-and-so to go. Whether they go or not, obviously it's better if your target goes, right? But if they don't, someone else did. And there is always a little bit of a shift. There's a window for you to kind of get in and kind of either repair something or like maybe make something new up. You don't get that if no one leaves. Now, is that Mariah's fault? Well, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because she knows that in this stage of the game, in this chaos phase, it's certainly possible that people don't go. And you do have to keep that in mind also. And I think that also speaks to the fact that these people don't have any experience. They don't know what they're doing. They're not planning properly.
Yeah.
What are the comments here? Let's see.
Yeah, Kyler had this comment about Mariah. She's playing her own game. She's actually killing it. She's managed to be in an alliance, even though everyone knows she has her own plan. She watched and learned that first season, and then Kyler followed that up with by saying Bessie might have accidentally brought on a woman who was better at this than him, which is hilarious.
I love that.
Yeah, these are very strong statements to be making when we still have 16 people left. we're gonna have to see again. We have to see how this one plays out, because like we are definitely seeing some seeds being sown for a distrust in Mariah. And with 16 left, that's not a good time for that. That the not exactly crops that I want to reap. So like I'm concerned. I'm definitely concerned. Fessy might have accidentally brought a woman who is better at this than him in Kyler.
Boop, boop, boop,
Yeah,
boop,
boop boop is right. Boop 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 boop. Because Fessy almost always makes it to the final. He has a lot of social blunders, but he still gets there, whether it's competition based or whatever little strands he can hold on to socially. But he does get there. Mariah has just gotten to us. She got to one season when she was partnered with him. So we're really ready to say, is that the basket you want to put all your eggs in? You got 12 eggs. You want to put all 12 in Mariah basket? I'm just saying, like, let's just say she could be around for a while. I'd love to be proven wrong. I think that's a very interesting conversation. But until then,
yeah, we'll see.
Too
I
early.
mean, we'll see. You know, it's possible that my queen Mariah could win this whole season. She's still in there, so
I mean, anything is possible. But I'm saying, like, you know, you have less eggs than you have contestants, so you only get a dozen.
oh man. But so okay, Raven gets chosen to go to the arena. Deliberation very short, no votes. Zara decides to put herself in, nominate herself. Everybody, of course, goes along with it because it means that no one else has to worry about going in. So it's Zara and Raven having to go down to the arena. What do you think about Zara's play here? Do you think that was a smart move, or?
I just don't understand why. Like, I don't get why you would willingly want to put yourself in that position.
I think she probably thought that she was being voted in no matter what. I mean, obviously there were people. We saw Horacio and some other people saying that they wanted to vote in Berna, I think, over Zara. But I think Zara probably assumed that she was just going in anyway. So why don't I just own it? And maybe it'll buy me some points with people later because I'm kind of throwing myself out there. That's my only thinking for why she might have, thrown herself in. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with that. Because it does shift the energy on your nomination. If you're kind of getting a whiff that you're going to be going in, then like if you self-nominate, then it's like, okay, well, I can now kind of convince myself that I made this decision and I can get my adrenaline up, like I'm ready to go, instead of feeling what it would feel like that everyone else put me in. I feel like I kind of took charge of something. But before we got to that point, that ABC party, am I the only one that's not tired of the way that Michelle speaks to people? She's like, well, I don't really know how you get out of this, because, this is what you're up against. And it's like, I can't wait for somebody to fucking throw her in. And I want to see her fucking face when she goes down there and gets sent home with her big eyes. She's always like telling everybody else what they need to be scared of. And like, oh, I don't know. I think you're being put up against the wall. I don't know. This is your David and Goliath moment. It's like, I'm just so sick of her speaking with such entitlement and based on what? As Gina says, she never even made a final. Like, so what are you talking about? Like, I am just so sick of her. I can't wait for everything to go wrong. I just can't wait.
Damn.
Sorry, not sorry.
I also during that party, I was getting so annoyed at production too, because it's like, you can't tell me that she just woke up today and decided, oh, what if Laurel's going in? And now all of a sudden, every play that she's making is like related to what if Laurel shows up. Like, obviously, production tipped her off that Laurel was coming, so she was making all of her pitches based on that. Like, I don't know why we had so much focus on this about we haven't heard anybody say, well, what if it's this person? What if it's that person?
No, we have. We have.
Not like this.
Listen. You got okay. You start seeing the champions come in. I don't disagree with you guys that production pulls shenanigans. I don't. But we just saw in the last episode Mariah freaking out about, is Bananas coming in? Oh my god, I think it's going to be Bananas. So like it doesn't like shock me that Michelle is going to be like, oh, could it be Laurel now? Could it be Laurel? Like, it
You're
doesn't
not
shock
wrong,
me.
but it did feel like there was a lot of focus on Laurel. Like there was absolutely no question in my mind that I was seeing Laurel at the end of this episode. There was no
But
question.
okay, and I get that, but we also know the cast list, so we know ahead of time
We
that Laurel
do,
is
but
coming in.
I think that even for the faux relationship with Mariah and Bananas, as many times as we've heard his name come up, episode to episode, Laurel's name came up so many times with Michelle in this one episode that it was like, if I wasn't convinced that they are stacking the whatever poles, what do you even call those? I don't even know what those little things are, like little anvils on a stick. I don't know. Everything's on a stick. But I was absolutely convinced that everyone was going to say chaos.
Yeah.
Because I just thought that everything was pointing towards that.
Well, I do have
massively disappointed that it wasn't stacked that way.
Well, I do have a tweet to share later when we get to this elimination, by the way, about this and some of the shenanigans that we talk about and stuff like that. So when we get there,
I had a feeling one of you was going to pull this.
Yeah. But yeah, so we had Raven and Zara chosen to go into the arena. And of course, Laurel was the champion that was brought out. I will say I loved how much Michelle was sweating during this moment because Laurel specifically was like, yeah, that girl in the purple jacket right there. Yeah, if I get chaos, it's her. And you could see Michelle just absolutely freaking out, which I loved.
Full-blown panic attack. Like she was not having a good time.
Which also does sort of suggest to me that maybe there was some production interference to kind of like spice this moment up. You know, because like the girl in the purple jacket, that's not Laurel. That is not Laurel. She didn't even remember this bitch's name. Because Laurel would have just been like, Michelle. Like, that's old school Laurel. Like, Laurel would not be questioning what your name is. Like,
I don't think she was questioning it, though. I think she was just kind of skirting around it. I don't think she was like
being cute. You think she was being
cute?
That's just not the Laurel I remember. I just remember Laurel being like
Laurel
old bar, like no punches drawn. Like
sure.
Yeah.
But I almost think it makes Michelle sweat even more by not specifically calling her out.
Oh,
just
okay,
being like, oh yeah, you see that girl over there in the purple jacket? Yeah. If I get chaos, that's who I'm calling out. Like it almost makes it like you don't even want to say her name, you know, like because she doesn't even deserve it because she threw. Right. Yeah, exactly. That's how I viewed it.
All right.
But Laurel actually tweeted about this. This is what I was just talking about that I had.
What's she tweet?
She tweeted, she said, I just want to say, this is how you know the challenge is not rigged. I told every producer what I wanted and who I wanted to go against. All the rest of the girls, I had no desire to ruin their experience.
I saw that and was like, damn.
I had no desire to ruin their experience.
So, I mean, I'm with you.
I know.
Right. I'm with you guys. Like, I totally agree that sometimes production steps in and makes things happen that they want to see happen, that they think that the audience wants to see happen. But like, I think sometimes that some of the things we second guess just actually happened. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
all right. Okay.
And I do think that I wouldn't have minded if production rigged this because I would have loved to see Laurel call Michelle down. I was disappointed it didn't happen. And I don't think that production would have wanted us to be disappointed. So like, there's a lot of things that I think, you know, might be played around with, but I feel like there's a lot of things that we might think are rigged that actually aren't.
Okay. All right. I can accept that this one time. But I still got my eye on the riggins.
So yeah, of course, Laurel did not pull chaos. She pulled Raven's name, which meant Zara, after throwing herself down, was off the hook. And we had Laurel versus Raven in Chain Reaction. That was the name of this elimination. Basically, there were these two pyramids with a chain running through each. The players had to pull the chains through the pyramid as fast as they could to get to a code. Along these chains, there were different, you know, color combinations and things like that. And once they got to the end where the code was, they had to use this code to unlock a box behind a pegboard. Inside the box, there were these different color pegs, and then they had to sort of recreate the combination of colors in their pegboard that appeared on the chain that they'd pulled through the pyramid. So they had to go in order, figure out each color one by one. What did you think about this elimination? Did you like this one?
I actually did like this one. I feel like Kyle clearly has a different opinion, but
I mean, I liked it up until the end. Like, I think we have discussed this too about like, the audience interference and like
that I
usually
can't stand.
Yeah. Well, see, I've always had mixed feelings on that because that certainly has been like a thing in the challenge, but in this situation, I don't feel like it's as fair, because this is not, even if you don't want Raven to win, you want Raven to win because we're keeping the $10,000.
Right.
Like, I think that it's interesting if John and Gina are down in the sand together and somebody is shouting like for one of you to win, then it's like, okay, that means you played a strong enough social game that I want to root for you. Like, there's a reason for the rooting. Like, that means you put in some work behind the scenes. I can kind of get behind that. Like, this has nothing to do with Raven per se. And like my biggest issue with this is that now you've helped her. And like now people are saying, oh, wow, you took down Laurel. No, she didn't. Laurel lost, but it's not because Raven won. Like, yeah, she won, but she didn't beat you, because this was literally the majority of the cast and Raven against her. And then for TJ to say at the end of it that she was only one peg off, if somebody was even just giving her a smidge of help, Laurel would have gotten this. Raven had a whole bunch of different things to be moving around. She needed everybody to walk her through the whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's like that's not exciting to me.
That was confusing to me too, because to your point, like, regardless of whether you like Raven or not, her going home means she's taking money out of the prize pot with her. So obviously I would assume everybody in there is going to want her to win. And I can't remember if it was Ed or if it was Asaf who said it in like one of the confessionals, but like Kyland was the first one that was really vocal about trying to help.
It was Ed. It was Ed.
And he was like, oh, well, now I see who Kyland's, alliance is towards. Now I see like who he's rooting for and who he's trying to work with. And it's like, how do you get that from what's happening here? He's just trying to not lose money for his own prize pot. Like that to me doesn't say like, oh, well, Kyland's clearly working with Raven.
Right. And even comments like that turned me off to this season just as a whole, because these are people who are talking. They're just saying things that they've heard on prior seasons, not realizing that what they're saying doesn't actually make sense with the situation that they're in at the moment. That had nothing to do with Kyland like siding with Raven. It had everything to do with the fact that like, if I win, I don't want this to be $10,000 lighter. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, ugh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
I hear that.
I'm ready to get out of this chaos phase. Let's get back to, let's get a little bit closer to the challenge. So maybe there's some hope for enjoying this, because I feel like this really took a dip once you started to put the vets in there. It already wasn't rating super high, in my opinion, but like it's gotten
because
worse.
Nothing's happening.
Well, that's what's funny. That's what's funny about it, actually, though, because the reason that MTV actually rushed, remember they had that one night where they put 2 episodes on at once. It was in order to get to the point where we had the vets coming in, because the ratings were so low. And the ratings did go up once the vets came back. But
but I guess people who actually enjoy the game for what it is, like, it's not the absence of vets that makes this no fun. It's you constructed a very bad cast. Like, I'm not rooting for a lot of people. Like, where like this challenge, I didn't shake a stick at that.
Well, to be fair, though, I think that from the jump, before anybody knew what the format of the game was, the viewership was already low. That's why MTV was rushing to get the vets involved. But what I'll say is that since the vets have been involved, while the views seem to have jumped a little bit once they were introduced, it seems like it started to dip again a little bit since they've been introduced, because of what we're talking about now, like the format of the game, and just not, it's just not resonating with people as much as MTV would like. So, but Raven wins, saves the money. So 2 episodes that we're talking about tonight, nobody goes home. The prize pot stays at $366,000. And yeah, it does feel. I will say one interesting thing. It does feel like some of these alliances are shifting because we saw Raven and Zara getting close. Horacio didn't want to say Zara's name. Nerissa and Horacio are close, and we saw Jay kind of talking about how he was maybe a little bit concerned about some of this because um, maybe the U.S. alliance is not going to be so secure. If you start to take some of these numbers, if there's 16 people in there, and originally people were thinking there's a U.S. alliance and there's everybody else, and now you have some of the U.S. alliance members kind of shifting to other people like Raven and Horacio and Nerissa, and now they're talking about working with Zara, and maybe Kyland is a part of that. And, now all of a sudden, if you have a team challenge and these people all end up on the same team together, maybe you start seeing people like Jay and Michelle in trouble, that could be interesting to me.
I want to see Michelle in trouble so bad. Because
Yeah.
the second she's in hot water, the woman spirals and she just becomes completely undone. And I can't wait.
Yeah,
can't
I
wait.
agree. And I feel like we saw on the next it looked like Michelle was being accused of potentially sabotaging the next daily challenge for whoever she's working with. So that could be interesting. It looked like Colleen was talking to Emmanuel about possibly making a big move and him kind of warning her, like, just be careful. So, like, I wonder what she's thinking. She's somebody that could kind of shift away. She knows that she's been she was working with the U.S. alliance, but knows that she's at the bottom. So maybe she shifts away. That could be something to look for. And then, of course, one of the biggest challenge champions that we have in the game is supposed to be coming in next time. So we'll see who that is. I'm thinking CT.
I feel like it's CT just because of the ball on a stick or the
that's
mace,
totally fair.
as I was corrected, but I enjoy ball on a stick much better.
The ball on a stick.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else from these episodes? I felt like there. So I figured when we started, I was like, let's talk about the 2 daily challenges and the 2 eliminations, and then we'll talk about everything else. But I felt like we kind of got into pretty much everything as we were talking about those.
Well, because like you said when we first started, it was like a lot happened, but also nothing happened at the same time. So like,
yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well. There are a couple of things, though, I think that could be fun to discuss. Like, one thing that I was thinking about was the whole Michelle and Berna thing. Berna seems to feel like she is like best friends with Michelle, but Michelle is clearly more aligned with Olivia, Nerissa, Mariah. Like, what do you think about Berna here? I feel like she's had a rough go.
Berna, this whole episode was just not having a good time. They do not like her in there.
I think that Berna, unfortunately, is just there's just a cultural difference here. She's used to interacting with people who are a little bit more straightforward, people who don't lie as much. Because let's not forget that Berna is no stranger to games like this. Berna has played Survivor Turkey, I believe, 3 different times, and now she's going to be on Survivor like Turkey All Stars or something like that. So like she's going to play again.
I actually don't remember. I didn't realize she had played that many times.
Oh yeah, Berna is no one to be shaking a stick at. Like she ain't nobody's rookie. All right, so she's done this a few times, and like she's a favorite over there, and it's because of the way that she is, because she's so straightforward, because she is what she is. I just don't think it translates in this game as well. That's not how these people are used to playing. I can't co-sign all of her behavior with the whole Horacio and Nerissa thing and like them in the room, but I also could see being turned off to it. So what don't I like about Berna's behavior? The fact that I wouldn't do it myself, or that I actually didn't like it.
Yeah, that was a bit of a messy one, because it's like I can totally see both sides of this so
Right,
easily. So it's like I don't know where I really stand on that.
Right, I still lean more towards Horacio and Nerissa being like, sorry, like this is the challenge, this is what we're doing, and this is what we do on this show. But like, I want to win this game, and if you're going to keep me awake, I'm gonna have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I can
what did you think though? Because she did the same thing to Raven and Emmanuel, who I think were in a different room than where Berna was sleeping. What do you think about that?
Yes, but her reasoning for that was also different, which, like, again, I can also still see both sides of it, of like why that's annoying and why she's like acting the way that she's acting. But like, at least in that, she was like, I know him and he has a girlfriend, so I want to stop him from making a bad decision. But also, girl, that ship has sailed a long time ago.
Right, that ship definitely has sailed. But as a friend, like I could imagine, like let's just say, like I was playing the challenge or any other show, and like John was there, and he's just, like, he has a girlfriend at home, and he's sleeping with this one, sleeping with that one. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like you did enough
Right.
damage.
No, I totally see where she's
Stop.
coming from on that one.
Right. So
Yeah.
like I kind of like I get that one too. It's like even though that ship has sailed, we don't need to put another ship in the water. Like just enough. Everybody's docked. Stop it. Deal with the ones that are out there at sea. Get them back home before we launch another ship. You know, I love my metaphors. I'll run into the ground. But yeah, like that one I felt a little bit better about. The one with Horacio and Nerys, it's like, I mean, that's not fair because your main objection is what noise, and you don't want to hear those things. It's like, well, what if you snored? People would have to put up with that.
Yeah.
And even in there's an argument to be made.
Could you go to
I assumed it was
Nerys'
just
room?
like being in the room, like not even like
Right.
noise necessarily. Just like I don't want to be here for this.
Right.
Well, Nerys seemed to say like this is his room too about Horacio. So I'm wondering like where does Nerys sleep? Could they just go in there? I don't
Right.
know.
Why can't Horacio go to your room? Like, why do you have to be here then?
Yeah.
Because like, where do you draw the line? Like, if it's my room too, and there's something going on that I'm not a big fan of happening, like where do you draw the line between I'm respecting the fact that you want this to happen versus I don't want this to happen?
Yeah.
That's an impossible line.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I still love
agree.
Berna though. I love Berna.
Yeah. I love Berna too. She's had a rough go on this season.
She has.
But she's still there. She's still there. So was there anything else? Oh, the anything but clothes party. Did anybody have an outfit that you thought was the best, or did you not care about anything in that whole thing?
Emmanuel's was fun with the blown up hands in certain spots.
That was funny. It
yeah.
took me a minute to realize what was happening there, and then once I got there, I was like, "Oh, this is so stupid."
Yeah, like that was fun, but otherwise, it was stupid because people still had clothes on underneath anyway. People still had underwear.
And you know
on.
that was just like a thing of like, again, I sound like a broken record, but like it was production being like, throw a party, just here's some stuff,
just come
make
on,
some clothes.
here's
It'll
some
be fun.
balloons, go do something. Here's some tape and some balloons. Come on now.
It's like, okay, like
yeah,
fine.
Here's some plastic tissue wrap.
Bunch of leaves, like take them.
Lame. But other people looked amazing. Like James,
I was gonna say like these people look so hot.
And
Zara. They could be wearing anything and they'd all look hot. They're really hot.
But that's
people.
the thing. Like Horacio only had like some like random plastic tissue wrap around, like linked together with like some black electrical tape. Meanwhile, James, Mariah, and Zara had that amazing like sunflower thing that looked absolutely incredible. Some people definitely had more of a budget than others. So I don't know. Production gave their favorites like the good stuff.
I gotta tell you too, Nerys is so fucking hot.
She's not hotter
they
than
all
James.
Are. Literally all of
James
them
is out of this world.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. That's all I have to say. It's out of this world. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I guess that's it for our recap of episodes 10 and 11 of the Challenge 39. We've been streaming for a while, but I did want to ask you guys, because we were talking about earlier about how it's the last stream for our little podcast in 2023.
Yeah.
Christmas has come and gone. New Year's is coming up. So
Kyle's birthday is tomorrow.
Kyle's birthday is tomorrow. Kyle's birthday is tomorrow. Yes. Everybody watching and listening, send Kyle birthday love. Yeah, send Kyle some birthday love. Yeah. His handle is right there in his little box there. It's at I'm Kyle Petty. But yeah, you guys have any New Year's resolutions? Have you thought about them yet?
I'm joining a gym. All right. I got to get myself in
Ooh.
order. That's it. I'm going to get myself together. But I'm waiting because I don't want to be back when I was on my fitness game, like years ago when I used to go to Zumba and the gym regularly. We always used to scoff at the January gym
Yeah.
members, right? Because they are the New Year's resolutioners, and they are
Mhm.
not going to be sticking with it. So I don't want people to think that that's what I am. But I also realize that not starting right away could become problematic. So I still think I'm going to be starting around like January 16th is when I'm looking to
Okay.
start this. Right after we celebrate the late MLK Jr. Um, and then I
Okay.
will attend the Planet Fitness across the street, which went up in price. Like, wasn't the white card like $10 a month, right? Like
Mhm.
the regular one, just only going to your home club. All of a sudden, it's $14.99. They're definitely trying it for
They
2024.
hiked it up, yeah.
They are. Yep, they're coming for your. They're coming for your coins. They're coming for your coins. Thank you, Yvette. Thank you, and thank you, Kyler. Thank you, Liz. All the birthday love. Thanks. It was a rough year. Rough year. 3 addresses later, we're settled. Did you miss the age? No, you didn't miss the age. That is unpublished. Deleted under the
Unpublished.
authority of Governor Kathy Hochul. All right, that my age is not out there. Thank you. Just old. All right, OLD.
Kyle.
Oh, OLD.
OLD.
You know what my New Year's resolution is?
What's that?
To go to bed earlier.
Wow.
If
That counts for
only.
something. That counts for
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
We got to
Stay
keep
over.
streams to just one per night, always 9:30.
Oh, yeah.
I am done with the double streams.
The doubles are a lot.
No,
They
but
are.
honestly though, like stream or no stream, every night, I always tell myself I'm going to be in bed by like 11, and then suddenly it's 1 a.m, and I'm going,
Yep. Every single
what
time.
happened?
My
Yeah.
insomnia could never. I wish
It's
you luck.
horrible. It's just horrible. Especially when sometimes I'm just like, all right, I am going to go to bed early. I will get in the bed, but I'll still be watching TV.
Yeah.
And then before I know it, I look, I'm like, oh my gosh, what do you mean it's 1:15? It's like unacceptable.
1:15. The amount of times that I'll look at my phone and I'm like, how is it 3:30? Like all the time. I'm just up so freaking late.
I would just start crying.
It happens all the time.
Way too
It's
late.
terrible.
Way too late.
I don't know what this comment from Natalie means. John is going to join Bowie, Jane, Jag, and Maddie Flatty for New Year's. I have no desire to be in the presence of any of those people on any day of the year. So I don't know what that means.
Did you see that Jag is a singer?
I
Oh, is
haven't
he?
watched the video, but I saw that he posted a cover or something.
He was singing something from Post Malone, apparently. I don't really know Post Malone.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it. It was fine.
Okay.
No, it wasn't bad. Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, what can't you do?" And it's like, all right, but as Long Island theater people,
Well, that's the
like,
thing is everyone can sing here, so like
exactly. So it's like this isn't really like, oh, okay, so you can definitely hold a tune. Like it was certainly not bad. I can see you using your platform to further this. I would say definitely a little bit better than what I think Jay Maya put out with Sifu. Sorry.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't think that was great. I didn't
Yikes. I
think
haven't heard
that
that
was
either.
great. Yeah, they sang Survivor. I realized it was in the middle of the night. They're probably like drinky drunkies, but like, I found her to be a little pitchy. Found her to be a little pitchy. All right, not for me, dog, as Randy Jackson used to say. In that regard, I would rather Jag, but
All right. Okay. Hey,
that's it. Yeah.
Gina, you got a resolution?
I think my main one is just a better work-life balance because the way that if I am not here, I am working one of 3 jobs and I have had enough.
I hear that. That sounds terrible. Come to TD Bank.
I tried. They weren't hiring, remember?
We're always hiring. Keep looking. You can't stop looking. Things happen all the time.
Yeah. There was one other question from Natalie who like seemingly insulted me with this comment. I don't know what this was about. But she did ask, because I actually did forget about this. Natalie was talking about Raven getting mad when she was nominated for elimination. Any thoughts on this? I kind of totally forgot about it. I feel like we've seen other people blow up when they got nominated. So,
but I was gonna say, I also feel like it's kind of par for the course with Raven. Like, I feel like that's just what she does, you know. So it didn't really faze me.
Yeah, she's just always shouting about anything, anytime something doesn't go her way. And that's kind of my issue with this entire cast, really, that I feel like everyone is trying to come up with these explosive fights and fights over things that don't need to be that explosive because they just want to have a storyline to have a reason to be invited back. Because I don't know why all of that energy was being directed right at Corey when there were 4 people that made the decision to put her in. And it's like, just stop. Like, she just... And then when Colleen was like, oh, well, you know, like I was just 1 of 4. She's like, well, have a voice. And it's like, shut up, Raven, because your first introduction to us, you didn't even really play the game properly because you were so overwhelmed and so intoxicated by Johnny's, you know, scent or whatever that was. Remember that guy, Johnny, whatever his name was? The one that's from Love Island. What's his name?
Oh, Johnny Middlebrooks?
Yeah, him. And it's like you were so wrapped up in that, like, oh my God, does he love me? I don't know. Does he love me? He's not spending enough time with me. And it's like all of a sudden you're like this fierce competitor that's so game-minded and game-focused. When people keep saying, like, you're referring to everybody else as being flip-floppy, but the reason why your name keeps coming up is because people don't trust you and they don't really know where you stand. They think that you're like a loose cannon. So it's like, isn't that just more of a fiery term for being flip-floppy?
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I see everything about her irritates me, really.
I like her though.
You do.
She's entertaining. Well, just because she's entertaining to me. I'm not like I wouldn't necessarily say I'm rooting for her, although I am because she's on my team. Even though I didn't choose her because she was one of the last 2 picks and I didn't have a pick. But she's on my team, so I am rooting for her. But like, you know, it's whatever. I think that she's brought some entertainment. She's gone to elimination a couple of times, won both times. Whether you think they were earned or not, she has gone down, which is more than some other people in there can say, and she's won. And she did say with that nighttime challenge, right? Where she was one of the players that was on the... Oh, no, not for the nighttime challenge. Maybe the daytime challenge before that. I think she's won 4 daily challenges. She's won 2 eliminations. She's been involved in a lot of drama. I think she's good for reality TV. So that's all.
Okay.
So where do we all stand, by the way, with our teams?
Not good.
Let's see.
Team Petty is
Team Petty.
We're limping.
Limping.
We've taken a lot of hits.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say that Kylan, I don't know that he's really in the worst position at this point. I mean, yes, people want to keep putting him in and everything, but because he won against Darrell, maybe people will leave him alone for a little bit. Sometimes when you go into elimination, people back off for a bit. People are not too enthused with Berna, but like,
yeah, she
still wasn't really public enemy number 1. Like, if Zara didn't raise her hand, I still think it was kind of going that way. At least that's what the edit suggested.
Yeah.
And as we said before, I think that Corey has really, not to quote Michelle, but he has kind of been under this kind of a rebrand. And he's
had a good arc.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And no one's saying him at all. Just as he said to Raven, well, how come nobody put me in there? There's something to be said for that. So,
yeah. Gina. Still got Olivia, Horacio, Michelle, Colleen, and Ed.
Terrible. I'm not super worried about my people right now.
No, and I don't know that you really should be. Colleen's name has come up a couple of times. You know, so I guess we'll have to see what happens with that. It is also interesting to kind of talk about Colleen a little bit because we knew that we came from the mole Germany, but now that we know more about the mole, if we've watched it, we understand exactly how that game works. It certainly is worth mentioning that she was the mole and won.
Right.
Where, you know, our version of the mole, we did not see the mole win.
Right.
So like that, there certainly is something to be said for that. So I'm a little bit more excited about where Colleen goes, because her name has come up a couple of times, but I don't really think she's like a high target. Depending on how these teams get split, her name could move up the list. But I still don't think, if all things are considered equal, I don't think people are looking at Colleen before they're looking at like a Michelle or somebody else, because like her name's coming up a lot, and I think that if somebody has an opportunity, they might swing. Where they're not going to waste a shot on Colleen.
Yeah. And then I'm still unscathed over here.
Yeah.
Wow, that is great. But some of your people, their names are coming up. Let's get granular. Raven.
Granular.
Name has already been up there. Zara has seen elimination, but it's like she didn't actually go into it. But it's interesting that people are talking about her, though. Same to be said, really, for James and Mariah. And depending on how their story goes, they could be hot targets.
Yeah.
Jay sucks. No one's saying his name, but I wish they would.
Jay does suck. I agree.
He sucks so
Yeah,
much.
John's got Jay and Asaf, so Kyle loves that team.
Asaf.
I will say I did not pick Asaf.
I know.
Yeah, he was the last person left in a draft where I was the last person picking, so I was just given Asaf. And Raven.
You are right about that. Did you hear? So apparently, Jay and Asaf, they have their own music.
Oh,
Are you
really?
aware of this? Yes, they have their own music.
Is it terrible?
It's not great. It is not great. I was trying to see if I could find something on the YouTube of it. And I don't see it. I saw some of this on the Instagram. Unfortunately, I did share one of their videos.
Unfortunately.
On my Instagram, but I shared it with the caption of I hate these two.
I missed it.
Yeah. Like it wasn't actually nice. Yeah, they were singing something like "I don't really give a fuck" or something. Like it was just really like not good.
Okay.
Damn.
Interesting.
Well, something else. Before we leave, I'm gonna have to share this now. Hold on. Anybody out there, just stick with us as I figure this out here.
All right. Well, while you're figuring it out, we do have a couple of things to do. One is it's been a while since we streamed, so even though it's not Monday, here's this.
On one Monday.
That's one thing.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, Kyle's sharing his screen.
Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can get this. There it is. All right, so it's here. All right, let me see if I hit play. I know, right? Aren't you already like? It says new song is fire. Oh, that you can't see that because we're underneath it. Where can we move ourselves to make this? Okay. So it says new song is fire. You tell us.
Yeah, since I was a kid I could remember that I'm not the one who deserved to win. And now I have you right beside me. Never doubt again, I'll praise the King.
Try to heal myself, try to find myself. Think I never needed faith just to save myself. But then he found me cold, and I was dead and gone. And everything that I thought, I'm sorry, I was wrong.
Why is this happening?
So that's what we get. You're welcome.
That is.
That certainly is a song.
Is it a song or is it noise?
Oof. Don't be talking about homework like that. That's what they call themselves. Homework. Homework.
Why?
And work with a W. Okay? With a W. All right, so you're welcome. Glory, glory.
Kyler. I try not to insult things I could never do better, but that is awful.
I like
Yeah, it's a
Kyler.
rough go. Yeah, it's a real rough go. It's a rough go. So in case you didn't like them before, there's a new reason.
Okay, thank you for that.
Well, thanks for. Liz says, "Yikes!"
Right. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So there you go. You're welcome. That is my
There
New
you go,
Year's
yeah.
gift to you all.
Thank you so. A
Thank
gift
you.
for us on your birthday
Yes.
eve.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Go out and be merry.
Well, I think that's it, right? We talked about episodes
it.
10 and 11 of the Challenge 39. We talked about our New Year's resolutions. We saw some of the music from Asaf and Jay. We did a lot tonight. We did a lot. Does anybody
We
have
did it
anything
all.
else? Yeah, anything
No.
else for the benefit of the community?
No. So everybody have a
Nor-
safe New
nor.
Year. Use Uber and Lyft. Make sure you look out on New Year's Eve for the Uber promo codes that will usually in most of your major metropolitan areas, they will give you some kind of a discount code or some kind of a credit to make sure you get home safely for New Year's. So keep an eye out for that. That's kind of been the trend for them. So just just go out, have a good time, but a safe time.
Yes. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, there you go.
And of course, we're Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast.
That
So
we
find
are.
us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod on all the platforms that you enjoy being on. We're there at Strat Chat Pod, and give us a like, write a comment. We love to hear from you. Throw us a subscription or a follow. Head over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that you consume your podcasts, and leave us a nice review. It's very helpful for the
It is.
podcast, and we
It is.
enjoy seeing the feedback. What we could do better, things like that. We want to get better. In the new year, we do. So help
Right.
us out.
Keep it nice.
No, we're nice. We're nice.
For
But people
them.
want to.
Keep it better, like make us better. I want them to be nice, Nice.
Yes, be nice. But yes, happy New Year, everybody! Thank you so much for tuning in. We love to have the audience that we have, hear from the people that we hear from. So thank you so much. We'll see you in 2024 when we'll be covering a whole bunch of other shows. Obviously, continuing the Challenge 39, but everything else as well. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. All
Sounds
right.
great. Kyler, I'm turning 39. All right, there it is, 39. I was hoping you were going to hit the exit credits as I said that, so thanks for flaunting me.
Lido.